So right now I'm trying to get the Dodge rolling again. On the first and only test drive I took it on, I blew one of the wheel cylinders. I believe it was the passenger side one. So since then I've gone through and replaced 90% of the brakes. The master cylinder is new, the stock vacuum booster is there, but I've got new wheel cylinders on the front, new rubber lines at all three ends, new shoes up front, reused all the hardware, and then in the back it's still the shoes that came with it, but I think someone in recent history did a great job because there's still tons of material left on it. So right now we're gonna lube up the wheel bearings, pack those full of grease, slap the hubs on, and get this thing back on all fours, then bleed the brakes, and go for another test drive. So here's a little tip on how to set up an initial alignment after you've done a bunch of suspension or brake work like I have on my Dodge. So my Dodge, I replaced both the tie rod ends, which means my toe in and toe out is all out of whack. So what you do to get a quick little on the road kind of alignment is you take two bars. These happen to be 24 inches long, and you mark the center and you clamp it on both sides, and you lay two tape measures over it. So you can see on one side I've got 66 3/4, and then the other side I've got 66 7/8 on the end. So that means over the length of this 24-inch bar, I've got 1/8 inch toe in, meaning both tires are going to be pointed towards each other a little bit at the front, and you want that for stability. And this will be fine just to get me on the road, get me moving. I can go get a professional alignment later, and this applies. I use this trick on my Jeep too. An off-road use only vehicle, something where alignment really doesn't matter as long as the tires are basically pointed straight. So use that trick next time. Here's my chance for quick tip number 2 of this video. Now that the hubs are on, it's time to bleed the brakes. The normal process is you holler inside, get your wife, girlfriend, sister, brother, cousin, mom, dad, somebody to come pump the brakes while you crack the bleeders, and that's a pain in the butt. If you have an air compressor, there's an easier way, and it doesn't have to be a big air compressor. It could probably be a 3-gallon pancake compressor, honestly. Find a cap or a plate. For example, modern cars have a plastic cap like this. On this truck with this old school master cylinder, I've just got a flat plate and a gasket to seal it off. Drill and tap it for your standard air chuck, something that you'd plug an air tool into, and then dial your air compressor down to 10 to 15 psi, clamp that on, plug it in, and now your booster is pressurized to 10-15 psi, and you just walk over to your bleeder, crack it, and you'll get a solid flow of fluid out of it, and just run that until there's no more bubbles. It's as easy as that. Now, don't periodically check, make sure your reservoir is not running dry, and you can do this for any car. So this plate is clamped on, and this works for the Dodge here. This goes for my Jeep, this is for my Jetta, and this one is for my Power Stroke. So next time you're at the junkyard, just grab a cap for all your various vehicles. When you come home, drill them and use a lot of thread tape and just screw in a air chuck fitting, and that's pretty much it. Besides, a lot of the caps, when you peel back the rubber, if you look, there's going to be like a channel cut into them so that the reservoir can breathe. Just fill that in with a little bit of silicone, RTV, something like that, and you're good to go. The cap might leak a little bit, but it's still going to bleed just fine. You still got the compressor pushing all the air through the system. Working though. The steering's still really loose. But I mean, besides that, it seems like it's running pretty dang good. Second test drive went great so far. Fingers crossed. I'm just gonna keep driving it and hope nothing else breaks. I tried filming while driving, but it's a little tough to wield this big camera and drive this thing at the same time. The steering's still a little bit loose. You know, I replaced a couple of joints. The part that's loose, this car had like hydraulic assist basically from the factory, and that proportioning valve, it looks like all the looseness is coming from that. So I think I'm gonna replace that with just a solid joint that the non-power assist steering trucks came with. Should be a pretty easy part to get. If not, I'll just make my own using some tie rod ends and some welded bungs and some DOM tube. Not a big deal. The motor and trans are also shifting beautifully. You know, if I floor it, it downshifts like it's supposed to. It goes through all 3 gears. Yeah, only 3 gears. But the motor sounds healthy. It's quiet because I put, you know, a big muffler on it. But this thing's kind of a sleeper right now. It's not a muscle truck yet. It's still just a grandpa truck. But I love it. It's got a cool style, and it fits. You know, the white wheels that I put on, just painted those white myself. I think they look great. I'm honestly not even sure if I'm going to put the hubcaps on. I kind of like this style of a patina truck with really new white wheels on it, so we'll see. That'll probably be it for this video, so stick around and you'll see some more.